Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com. Here to talk about a great fight. Not a good fight, but a great fight that's happening this weekend in Paris in the middleweight division. Now, let me just say, one of the things that, in my opinion, makes boxing the best sport to watch. It's one of the more dangerous sports, but it's a great sport to watch, is the fact that we crown world champions. It's not about any particular country. Rather, you're looking at the best internationally. And if you go to the former Soviet Union, you're going to find many of the world's very best boxers, right? From Kazakhstan, you have one of the reigning light heavyweight champions, Bebut Shumanov, of course, in the heavyweight division. From the Ukraine, two of boxing's heavyweight champions, the Klitschko brothers, are from the Ukraine. Sticking in the Ukraine, of course, you have a middleweight champion, Dmitry Pirog, one of the sport's best fighters, in my opinion, pound for pound. You also have esteemed light heavyweight, I'm going to butcher names, please bear with me, one of the elite light heavyweights, Vyacheslav Uzelkov, who just got beaten by Bebut Shumanov, the light heavyweight champion. And you have at middleweight the number one ranked fighter from Georgia of the former Soviet Union, and that's Avtandil Khurtsidze. He's known as the Tornado. He's 5'4". He's a middleweight. He fights like Michael Kassidis, the lightweight, right? He is a guy, in fact, he fights like Iron Mike Tyson, the former heavyweight champion. This is a guy who comes in, he basically tries to walk you down from the opening bell. He's throwing very heavy hooks. He tries to get under your guard. He is all action, and his defense, like Kassidis' defense, is underrated. Those short punches, has his hands up, he's an overall problem. He's fighting another big-time middleweight contender, and if you don't know about this guy, you need to take out a pen and write down his name and then look up his fights on YouTube. And this is Frenchman Hassan N'Dam. And if you've ever seen Sergio Martinez fight, the foot speed, the counter-punching, the use of distance in the ring, an in and out style, the fluidity, then you've seen Hassan N'Dam fight. Let me just say, I know there are other divisions getting more pub. The super middleweights right now have a great tournament going on Showtime. But let me tell you, a lot's happening in the middleweight division. Some of the sport's best fighters are in the middleweight division. The only thing these guys are lacking is recognition. As I said, you heard me earlier in this video say I consider Dmitry Pirog to be one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the entire sport. Well, let me just say, I know the media has been focusing on middleweights like Danny Jacobs, who just lost to Dmitry Pirog, and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who, of course, is the son of one of boxing's historical bests, right? My point to you is that, in my opinion, Hassan N'Dam not only belongs in the conversation, but right now, if he were to fight Sergio Martinez, who I consider a great fighter, or Paul Williams, who is also in the middleweight division, I'm not sure if I know who wins that fight. N'Dam is that good. So this weekend, you have unbeaten N'Dam fighting once beaten Khurtsidze in Paris in a middleweight brouhaha. I'm taking N'Dam in the fight because I think that his foot movement is going to be enough, and counterpunching is going to be enough to slow down Khurtsidze, right? I think style-wise, this is similar in many ways to Paul Williams against Martinez, right? Khurtsidze is going to be the fighter coming forward in the fight. N'Dam's going to be the fighter who is fluidly moving backward, but don't be confused by that. He's still being offensive. He'll be throwing combinations. He'll be timing Khurtsidze. Khurtsidze doesn't match N'Dam, in my opinion, in terms of fluidity or foot speed. And keep in mind, there's a reach gap between the two of them. And N'Dam is much taller than Khurtsidze, that I think Khurtsidze is going to have a very hard time overcoming. So I hope hardcore fight fans take a look at this fight and admire the technical talent of both of these fighters. Both of these guys are going to be big-time players in the middleweight division. Let me also point out, too, that there are other elite middleweights. Felix Sturm comes to mind. I think Felix would have his hands full if he were to fight N'Dam. I think that while Felix Sturm has one of boxing's best jabs, I think the way to beat a great jabber like that is to get outside the range of the jab and to fluidly come in and out. I think that's the kind of thing that Martinez and N'Dam can both do. I like N'Dam against Khurtsidze this weekend in Paris. Let me know what you think. Visit us at gamblersadvisory.com and also leave your messages for me here on YouTube. And I understand that there are some other middleweights out there, unbeaten Gennady Golovkin, for example, and I know that they all have fans. If you have a favorite middleweight, tell us about it. Tell us why you feel your guy is the best middleweight, and why you feel the public doesn't yet realize it. Because right now there seems to be a lack of consensus in the middleweight division. You don't have the consensus you have in other divisions like super middle, where I think most of us believe the best super middleweight, for example, is either Andre Ward or Lucien Bute. Here in the middleweight division, if you get 10 men in a room, some will go for Felix Sturm, some will go for Dmitry Pirog, some will go for Sergio Martinez, some will go for Paul Williams. I'll tell you what, I'm going to try to encourage dialogue among fight fans. In making comments on this video, you pick who you believe is the best middleweight, tell us why, and point us to the fights that have you believing the way you do. Thanks for watching.